Alright, it's finally here. The years of waiting. The long-awaited true reboot of Superman. And, well, I liked it. I kind of liked it. The reception on this film is awfully mixed, and unlike The Great Gatsby, I can actually see why that is. And I'm just gonna go say it. The biggest problem with this film, there's just way too much action. Now, this is a Zack Schneider film, so I kind of expected that. But let's go into what's good, because really, if you were to cut out maybe 20, maybe even half an hour's worth of the action, this would have been a perfect film. Um, but that's really just the biggest complaint. Cut out about 20 minutes worth of the action, and it would have been a great film. Like, yeah. I'll try not to spoil too much. But anyways, this is an origin. This is an actual reboot, not whatever the hell Superman Returns was. What confused Matthew says. Is it a sequel? Is it a remake? Is it a reboot? Um, so basically, we're left. The film starts off with sort of the political and literal instability of Krypton. Um, they've been they were mining resources straight from the planet's core, and it's kind of destroying Krypton. And you're actually on Krypton for a good 10, 15 minutes maybe. Um, so anyways, and what it is, Jor-El, and I think it's Laura Van John, had a child, young Kal-El. And it's the first natural birth on Krypton in apparently centuries. Anyways, but Krypton might be destroyed soon. But then we're introduced to General Zod, played menacingly by Michael Shannon. Um, he's the military leader of Krypton. Anyways, he's trying to give a hostile takeover of Krypton, really, because he kind of knows where Krypton should be heading. Russell Crowe plays Jor-El, and when I first heard that, I thought, well, this is a fairly big name actor for a role that, well, I don't know how big it was going to be, but I was surprised just to how much Russell Crowe's actually in the movie, considering that, well, he dies. Yes, yes. Okay, that's not a spoiler. It's in the first 10, 15 minutes. And then General Zod and his group of Kryptonians, there's like 6 of them, get cast off and get imprisoned and sort of cast off into space somewhere. And then young Kal-El is sent to Earth in his little space pod. And then he arrives to Earth, and then, well, Krypton explodes. And then the moment his ship lands, we cut to like 30 something years later, where we see a middle-aged Clark Kent trying to, well, trying to hold a job, really. He's a fisherman, and life is kind of rough. But then something unexpected happens. A oil refinery is on fire. It's about to explode. So he literally swims out there. He's just in a pair of shorts, and then pretty much saves like the 20 odd people on there. And then this one thing. Okay, I'm just gonna stop for here a second. One thing this film does so well is its narrative structure. It's non-linear, and it's interesting because you see bits of him when he was a kid, and when he was a kid, he was doing these constant things. Like he was, like when he was just a young kid, when he was like 8 years old, his powers would start acting up. Like he'd be using his X-ray vision. Sometimes his super strength would be activating. Sometimes he'd be jumping around, like little bits of flying, and he just couldn't control it. Like because the atmosphere and the gravity is so much different on Krypton than it is Earth, that he couldn't really. It took him years to adjust to it. Like after 33 years of being on Earth, he was able to adjust to it over the years, but when he was just a kid, he couldn't really like control himself. Um, so that causes problems, and Diane Lane and Kevin Costner play his Earth parents, and they are just wow, that may be one of Kevin Costner's best performances, and the guy's a great actor, except for Waterworld and maybe The Postman, but. Diane Lane, I really like. Another, what I was saying, yeah, they're very good as his parents, and you see just various bits in his in his young life where he was doing these like superhuman things. When he was like 12, he was on a school bus with some kids. And the bus it crashes into a car. It falls off a bridge into like like a river. Then Clark pretty much pushes the entire bus out of the water, um, and like saves 20 odd people, 20 odd kids, and everyone's just like it's an act of God. And Jonathan Kent, he's sort of saying like he knows of his powers, he knows that he's an alien, and he's sort of saying you have to keep yourself a secret. We don't know what could happen. And then there comes actually one of the most interesting lines in this movie. You can see it in I think it's the second trailer, where Clark says, "What am I supposed to do? Just let them die?" To which Jonathan Kent replies, "Maybe." Um, but I like that. I like that aspect, the whole fatherhood aspect. Like I said, I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to father characters and supporting roles, and this is neat. You got his biological father, then who's gone, dead, and then you got his, the one who raised him with morals and ideals. Well, and I will say this, and I'm just gonna give a few more plot points. Amy Adams as Lois Lane, awesome. Like Amy Adams is like one of those. I mean, sorry, Amy Adams. Lois Lane's always been a really interesting character. Who was the actress that played her in the original Superman movies? I don't know, but yeah, but just Lois Lane's always been one of those great characters, with the exception of Superman Returns. But then again, everything else in that movie was really stupid anyway. Lex Luthor is not in the movie, if it hasn't occurred to you yet. And I'm just going to say this right now. Henry Cavill is Superman. Just physically, emotionally, just everything just about him just feels like Superman. Like Christopher Reeves, he's a great Superman. I think Henry Cavill is just a bit better. Um, and maybe that's just how I see it. But like I said, the biggest problem with this film is that there's just too much action at times. I mean, and it's well done action, but it's just like it just keeps going and going and going. Like there's at the very end, there's like a 20-odd minute fight with him and General Zod, and I'm thinking like, good God, is it over yet? And like when he's fighting, sort of the one female Kryptonian, um, I like how there's a great bit where Clark, or you can call him whatever you want. He's only called Superman, I think, once in the entire movie. So it's kind of like Batman. They don't know what to call him. It's like Superman, sir. It's like what? That's what we're calling him. We're calling him Superman. And the very ending just kind of made me laugh a bit. But then there's also something at the end. What Kal-El? Kal-El is when he's Superman and Clark is when he's just regular human. What Kal-El does, which really it surprised me, and it was both I think unique to his character as well. But like I said, just too much action. I mean, if you like I said, shut off 20 minutes of that and maybe put some stuff into that, like more of like the human stuff, like more of the human stuff, more maybe the stuff when he was a kid or stuff when he was like going like from odd job to odd job. That would have been interesting to see. It was always the best bits for me when he was a kid. Those bits they were just so well done and just brought tears to my eyes at one point. Kevin Costner's great, Diane Lane's great, but Russell Crowe's in this movie a lot more than I realized. Like I said, eventually he goes. Clark goes to the north and finds what's basically the Fortress of Solitude. Well, not really. It's a Kryptonian style ship, and he had that. There's a little thing you can see it in the second trailer. It's like a little like black. It almost looks like a tube. It has this S on it. Well, it's not an S. It's a symbol of hope, and that's kind of cool. That each Kryptonian has like a different style of that. I think it's like meant to be the. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to represent, but you see it on the female Kryptonian. It looks a bit different. It looks like more like a spike almost. I think General Zod, he also has an S. So, Michael Shannon, he has a very square-looking face, I must say. But he's great in this. I think he might just have the best performance. Well, next to Henry Cavill. But but it's also neat things. Is that what Jor-El did? He did something to Kal-El just before he sent him off into to Earth. That it really and the things that General Zod do, it gets interesting actually. The more I think about it, pretty much what it is, Jor-El puts something into Kal-El, and General Zod wants it back. Okay, it's difficult to explain, and I don't really want to spoil it too much. But I think this is a good film. It's getting a lot of mixed reception, but I can understand it, why it's getting mixed reception. Okay, to an extent. I mean, everyone's commented saying, yeah, there's too much action, but no one's saying, like, yeah, how's Henry Cavill? He's great as Superman. Like, I heard they're making a sequel, which I'm happy for. Um, which will be interesting to see what they do. And then after they do the sequel, they're going to do Justice League. Zack Snyder's going to do Justice League. And I'll just do this quick, and I think that'll be good. What do you think here? Yeah, where was Zack Snyder's signature style? Because he's good with the slow motion stuff. I was kind of wondering, wait, where is it? Well, I guess because there's so much action in that, if he did all the slow motion stuff, the movie would have been about 8 hours long, or something like that. And that's another thing. It needed a little more humor. I mean, there were bits where, yeah, I was kind of laughing due to some funny imagery or an occasional line, but it's a little too serious, I think. Like, even the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan's Batman films, they had, like, a lot of good humor to them, whether it be dark humor or just, funny bits in general. Hell, even Inception did. But I'd say it's a good movie. There are a few problems here and there, but I give it a 8 out of 10. Jeremy Jahns, he compared it to like an episode of Power Rangers, just getting sort of absurdly just over the top. It's like, oh, first we gotta fight, oh, big guns, now the Megazord, and now all this. But like I said, shut off 20, maybe 30 minutes of action, and I think you got an amazing film. Yeah, and everything just explodes in this movie. Like, literally, when they call him Kal-El throughout the entire movie. Kal-El or Clark or whatever. I think Kal-El. When Kal-El's fighting Zod, like get punched through like 10 buildings at once, and that'll always be an explode. Did Michael Bay have a say in this? And also, there's a lot of lens flares. So J.J. Abrams must have had some sort of say in this. But I mean, yeah, I was a little let down at times, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Superman's not the most respect. I don't want to say he's not respected because I know quite a few Superman fans, but he's one that people just have a hard time grasping the idea of. It's like he's not like you think of like Batman. Batman's like he's just human. Like he doesn't have any powers. To some extent, he created his powers. He has all the gadgets and everything, and the voice, I mean, Spider-Man has powers, but, like, he's still just a kid at the same time. But they do a good job with, what they do with Superman here. I might watch it again. It did feel a bit long. I guess because there's so much action, it's kind of just like, well, what's supposed to stand out? I don't know. But, the final fight between him and Zod is just amazing. And Lawrence Fishburne, I wish he was in it just a little more. He plays Perry White, and from what I can tell, he's the first black guy to play Perry White, which is cool, because, Perry White and stuff. Who else is in this? Amy Adams is great. Amy Adams is so pretty. She's one of my favorite actresses. Russell Crowe's good. Everyone's good in this. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy the sort of father dynamic. I like all the sort of mystery behind it. And when Lois first meets Clark, that's funny. They're in like the Fortress of Solitude or whatever, the Kryptonian ship, and they just sort of meet. It's great. But I like seeing the bits where Clark had the odd jobs, but that's just me. I give it 8 out of 10, and good job, Snyder. See ya.